Hi, I'm DeLaney Gabriel. I'm a holistic health practitioner in Santa Barbara, California, and I'm here with Al Sanchez Jr., who is the owner, representative, CEO, everything, et cetera, with Poly-MVA. And I'm asked him kind of on short notice here because we're at the Cancer Control Society meeting in Glendale, California on September 1st, 2019. So I've known Al for probably 30 years. You were young,
yes,
and your dad initially
That's right.
founded the company for Poly-MVA. So it's just a product that I've recommended for a long time for anybody who has cancer, any kind of immune system issues. I guess fortunately in my practice I haven't had a lot of cancer patients, but when people have called, it's always the Poly-MVA that I refer them to. And currently, I do have a few patients who have cancer, and they are taking Poly-MVA, and I'm getting some good reports on those already. So I asked Al to take time out from a little greeting party he has for some patients that have been on Poly for a while. And I wanted you, Al, just to kind of give an idea about the Poly-MVA, talk a little bit about how it works. You can do a much better job than that, or than I can. Just whatever you might think of to say that people would be interested in.
Okay, thank you, Blake.
Yeah.
Primarily, like you mentioned, cancer patients that we're here with, they get the most bang for the buck for it because they're the most health challenged compared to any other disease. So it's anything specific for a disease, as it is for what we call the mitochondria, right?
Right.
So we all get fatigued, whether it's the flu or whether it's cancer, whether you have cardiovascular issues, neurological issues. It takes a toll because your body has to then utilize its resources to now fend that off or go repair that. Well, that repairing, that action, all takes energy. So that's where Poly really comes into play. So cancer patients get the most response because they're the most fatigued, they're the most compromised. Cancer itself is a mitochondrial dysfunction, probably the worst kind out there of all the mitochondrial diseases. So if you can help to get that working properly, then the patient automatically starts to feel better. Their immune system comes back online, all their other subsystems come back online. Neurologically, they start to balance out, cardiovascular. So now you start getting the patient going in the right direction, as you've seen, and then that's where you're getting these reports back of how they're feeling better and things. So it works with chemotherapy, radiation, or in spite of, because
And that's what I love about it. It's not an either or situation.
It's an and. It's a how do we put this together, because our body works what I like to call common sense medicine, right? Whatever we put in it is what we get out of it. So the fuel we're putting in our bodies are supposed to be the healthy nutrients. And if you put bunches of chemicals and all the other things that it doesn't know how to process, what happens? You get digestive issues, you get health issues.
You get worse.
You get worse, right? So diet, of course, is the biggest thing you can ever change. But then you have to supplement. And which supplements do you do? And this is where Poly plays such a key role of just energizing all your cells, your liver cell, your kidney cell, your nerve, your brain cells, your heart cell, all these cells, regardless of their state of disease by definition of a doctor, so that because it repairs itself all the time. That's what our bodies do, right? I think a great example of that is children, right? They fall and bounce right back up and they're healed in the next day, right? Take a 60 or 70-year-old, may take 2 weeks or 6 months sometimes, right? Because all those factors that help in healing are different, and we need to restore those in those patients that even need it more. And that's where Poly plays its biggest role.
Right. And it's important not just for immune system, but my understanding for 30 years has been that Poly-MVA is palladium bound to lipoic acid and has vitamins and minerals, amino acids.
Right.
And could be thought of by, my profession as a naturopath as a multiple vitamin complex that does so much more than that and goes deeper for the immune system than just a multiple vitamin would do.
That's
How
correct.
wrong am I?
Well, so you're right on all those counts, and it's actually, what I like to clarify is, so I put it in the realm of what the term is today called nutraceuticals.
Right. Yeah.
So a pharmaceutical, but a nutraceutical says, well, what's so special about it? So you can take a multivitamin. You can you go into Walgreens and Costco and all these other places.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
You go to all these health food stores. There you go. And see a plethora of vitamins. You know, okay, well, which one do I take? How do you know which one is which and which one isn't? But what I can guarantee you is that every drop of Poly-MVA is identically the same.
Exactly.
And you can only get it from one place because
Right.
it isn't something you mix together. It's something that is manufactured, put together. So these complexes that you mentioned earlier, it isn't just the alpha lipoic acid and the thiamine. Those are two great molecules.
Mhm.
Take alpha lipoic acid, take thiamine. There's no guarantee they're going to be where you need them to be.
Mhm.
But if you connected them,
Yeah.
so now they can't go anywhere without each other.
Mhm.
Now you have what's called a cofactor. So now
Yes.
this thing can go into the cell and do what alpha lipoic acid and thiamine do, but synergistically.
Yes, it's
That's-
a synergism.
That's it. So this
Mhm.
complex makes this, the Poly-MVA, a nutraceutical because it isn't just haphazard. It isn't some variation of this level of B vitamins or B2 or B12 or B1. No, it's a very specific, every time, every way, the way it's put together. Like you make a recipe of cooking or baking or something. You can mix it all together, but not till you cook it and it comes out as a finished product. That's more like Poly-MVA. The other supplements are just simply combinations of extract of this, high grade potency of this, or low grade potency, or
Right.
filler. You have no idea because that's not
Right.
on the bottle.
Yeah.
You have no idea where it came from. 1,000
And
supplements.
that's what scares me. We
Well-
were talking about, and if I want to just interject here, that everybody who knows me knows that I'm so concerned about who owns the company.
Correct.
I'm concerned about the cooks in the kitchen
Right.
and who's processing it and
Correct.
where it comes from.
Right.
And I did a video release yesterday that had to do with a lot of Procter & Gamble
Right.
and Clorox.
There you go.
Clorox now owns a vitamin company or two.
Right.
And some other companies, Nestle, just a lot of people that really don't have the fortitude that I want to deal with. And so people are going to be out there buying brand names,
That's correct.
but they won't be the same product that they were before. So that's where I look to companies like you, people like you who I know and have not only trust now, but have trusted for all this time.
And you can always ask that when you would talk to them in an interview and say, okay, well, where do you get these? How do you do it? I'm happy to show you how Poly-MVA is made and where it's at. And
Yeah.
you know, those things, I have nothing to hide from that perspective versus, you know, corporate America, unfortunately, is driven by, you know, the bottom line. And here's a great example. How many restaurants have you experienced over the course of your life that were small owned, great food restaurants, and then they got bought out by somebody, or they got, and all of a sudden something changed. You don't know what it was, but the food's not the same anymore.
Right. And the atmosphere's not the same. Nothing's the same.
Everything
the body-
changes, right?
And the
So-
body knows that.
You know, with unique products such as Poly-MVA that target something specifically like mitochondria, any production, cell protection, cell support, it's doing something very specific. And when you integrate that into an overall protocol, that's why these patients feel better
Right.
and get better, because you're helping the body heal itself.
Exactly. Everybody knows that I'm a holistic practitioner and a naturopath, but you have medical doctors
Uh-huh.
who have clinics set up and engage Poly-MVA's usage
Right.
with their cancer patients
For
or
all
people
those-
who have cancer.
Right.
Do you
For-
want to name any of those, or would you pass?
No, I mean, so the biggest one, of course, would be Dr. Jim Forsythe,
Yes,
who's been utilizing it since 2004
in Reno.
in Reno.
Yeah.
And he was a traditional oncologist before.
Yes.
So he crosses over and says, that isn't working for my patients. What can I do for them differently? Because that's what a doctor takes an oath to do,
Yes.
right? Do no harm and help their patients.
Right.
And you can't just keep prescribing or doing some way of medicine if your patients aren't improving. If all you're doing is writing prescriptions and trying to keep up with the number of people coming in here, that's not what doctors became doctors. They became doctors to help people. Well, that means sitting down with people, really looking at them, finding out what's really going on, doing some investigating, digging deep. If something doesn't work, you know, staying in touch with them, not just, here, try this, and oh, that didn't work there. Now try this
Right.
one. No, what's going on? And this is where Dr. Forsythe crossed over in oncology and says, okay, maybe I can do the best of both worlds. Maybe I have to do this. But he's used his experiences, and now he's integrated these products. He says, you know, great, chemotherapy, radiation, those kill cancer cells, but they also kill the other cells.
Yes.
Is there something I can do in a way that would be beneficial? And the answer was yes. Wow, surprise, right?
Yes.
Do you have to do them both? Wonderful. Do you have to do one separate and then the other one? Okay.
Yeah.
Find what worked for that patient, because if the patient isn't getting better and their outcomes aren't improving, then doctor, you're doing something wrong. Hate to tell
Right,
you.
but you are.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have Dr. Forsythe in the conventional oncology realm. You have Dr. Paul Anderson.
Yes, I love him. It's amazing.
And so, you know,
Yeah.
these guys stepped outside the box, looked at it differently, and they're coming to it not coming up with something special. They're just realizing what the patients need, how are the patients needing it, and how can they be the better doctor for the patient.
That's right, and they are.
Right, and then that leads to the answers. Don't try and think you have the answer. Let the journey answer it for you as you go down it, and then share that with everybody. Not this, oh, I got this special thing that I'm not going to share. Anytime I hear that, I go, that's the first sign of BS. That says, we have a special formula, special product, some hidden thing, whatever.
Right.
No, you don't. That's just marketing and giving fluff 9 times. I've never seen one that's ever lasted all the years I've been doing this.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, right.
And the Poly-MVA is liquid.
Right.
So for those of you who are taking all these supplements from me, all these pills, as people call them, the Poly-MVA is really nice and easy to incorporate with that. And here's what I do. I tell people that if you're healthy and just to maintain health, a teaspoon a day probably is good.
Half a teaspoon or a teaspoon is all you need prophylactically. Right?
And then for treatment, you might go up to 8 teaspoons a day. Or
that would be the typical higher dose.
Typical higher dosage.
Advanced patients that are just super fatigued, super compromised, and need maximum support. And that's only for a short time. Sometimes maybe 2 weeks, maybe 45 days, maybe 90 days, maybe 180 days, and then you'll come off that so that you taper down. It's what they call a loading dose that the doctors give out to help set the patient, right? Like vitamin D, right? You want to rise, if somebody's low, you rise up on it and then taper on down. Same principle. You're helping to engage the body's systems by titrating up nice and slowly, letting them go that way, and then go from there.
Okay.
So it's kind of simple, but it needs someone like yourself to help engage the patients and step them down the process, support them, be their cheerleader, and then we all work. You work on your side, I'll work on my side, and just keep helping the patients.
Right, because there's so many options for people.
Right.
And Poly-MVA is at the top of my list, and it's nice. They can get it for you can get it from me, you can get it from the company. I carry Poly-MVA Pro these days, and I'm very glad to have that.
Awesome.
So a little bit more for the professional, so it looks good on my shelf.
Well, not only that, it has the vitamin A that is needs to be monitored by a physician. So the Poly Plus that's what it's designed for.
That little bonus there.
That's exactly.
So what else can you? Anything else you can think to tell me? Or I know today there were probably 15 people who took the stage and took to the mic to talk about their experience with Poly-MVA and the success that they've had. And I get tearful hearing these people up there, and the young woman who had brain cancer, and she had her 5-year-old daughter with her. She was diagnosed when she was pregnant.
Yeah, that's
and just the Poly-MVA saved her.
Well, I don't think she was a poly patient, but she was under one of the doctor's cares that was targeting the metabolism.
Yeah.
But the point being is that they share their stories, which gives other people hope that you can do things differently. You don't, sometimes some things work for other people, and if it doesn't work for you, then reach out and try something different. Get a second opinion. You know, there's plenty of people like yourself that are out there and like myself that's what we do. We're trying to share our experiences of my family's experience with cancer, your personal and professional experience with cancer. And if we can all keep sharing our stories, then we can make it better instead of just trying to think that there's going to be some cure when we know there's not, and yet we still hear that today. Oh, there's a cure around the corner. How many? Right.
Oh,
push the stock price. And
next month, another corner.
Right. Exactly.
Another cure, and we haven't seen it.
We know there's different, and trying to change mainstream medicine to come around to that.
Okay. Yeah, but I first met Al's dad when I was working with Dr. Garry Gordon back in the late 80s. Wow. So when was your company formed?
So
when did you first have Poly?
So my dad first had that in the mid 90s, probably 94, 95, right about there.
I'm developing into that, so just amazing.
It really is. It's been one heck of a journey to see what it was to where it's at now and where it's going. Yeah. And it was really ahead of its time because, Poly's always done what Poly's done, working at the mitochondria, but Dr. Garnett and Dr. Antonowicz all telling people about that, and people were like, what's that now? What do they call it? Mitochondrial medicine. Right? Yeah. It's all metabolism. This is key. This is I even heard it's even in ophthalmology they're looking at how mitochondria are so key for the repair and sustaining of the eye. So I think Poly has really come a product of its time is finally here, which is exciting.
And so it's been 22 years. So in my time it was off. Because I had you placed with Garry Gordon, but it must have been at another conference.
No. Well, Garry was back in those days, and my dad and him were running But that was a little before my time. So
Yeah.
I came on in 2000.
Yeah.
A little after 2000, and so
Yes.
that's 19 years ago.
And you're still heading up the family business, got some
Still here.
support from your brother,
Right.
and you have such a wonderful team.
Well, thank you.
I'm so impressed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a great group of people.
So,
We better get back out to the.
and back out there. So thank you for your time. It
Oh,
was
thank you,
longer than
ma'am.
I thought, but it's such an exciting subject
It is.
that I wanted everybody to have that information. So thank you.
And hopefully, if somebody has any
Again.
questions, they'll go to you, and then
Yes,
you
they'll go to me and I'll go to him
and
and
we'll figure it out for
we'll
you.
do what we can to help you. So teamwork.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for listening and just wishing you all the best of health.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.